Hi guys, this is your daily tarot reading for Saturday the 24th of March 2018. Thank you for joining me. I have loads of tarot decks. One day I'm going to do a video with all my decks. That'll take me like hours. But some of them I keep in these cute little pouches, and this is one of the first pouches I got. I think I got it online somewhere, and it's got a little moon and stars, and I thought it was very fitting for the Morgan Greer Tarot because of all these stars here. So I just wanted to show you that. I don't know why, I just love that little thing. It's so handy, especially when I'm traveling and I'm taking a deck with me. So this is the Morgan Greer deck. I'm going to choose 3 cards for you to give you an insight into the day's energy, what you'll be working with, and how you can make the most of that energy. So let's have a look. I'm just being told to shuffle the cards 2 more times. So 1 and 2. There we go. So we have the Page of Cups in reverse. Then we have the 9 of Swords in reverse. And we have the fourth card of the Major Arcana, the Emperor in reverse. So 3 reverse cards. I read them both way round when they're in reverse, because when they're all in reverse like that, you get both meanings as far as I'm concerned. Other tarot readers will say, that's a no-no, you don't do that, I do that. So there we go. First of all, the Emperor is about security and structure, and also being fiery and angry and bossy and intolerant and in charge. The Emperor certainly doesn't just have negative qualities, but he's someone who gets to a position of power and leadership not through being soft and understanding. He gets there through being pushy. We've got the Aries handles here on the throne. It's all red, so that's passion, life purpose, believing in what you're doing. Armor to shield you from other people saying, excuse me, hang on a minute, you can't do this. Yeah, I can, because I'm the Emperor, I'm doing it. Then we have these eagles. His influence reaches far and wide. He's got this scepter, a staff, scepter, I don't know, means he's royalty. And it means that he's God's, especially in the olden days, the kings and queens were seen as God's elected officials here on earth. So we've got that cross, which is spirit intersecting the real world, coming together in the form of this man. But he's also carrying a sword, so he makes decisions, and he also goes to war to back up those decisions. So it's not just, you know, words, it's also action and violence. The eagle is about, yeah, like I said, his kind of will being done in all the realm and imperialism and taking over other countries and things like that. So the Emperor is about getting your will done through anger and through being forceful. That, if you take that approach today, what that does is it fills you with negativity, and rather than actually getting to this position of being a leader, and if this is the way you usually operate, I want something, so I'm just going to bulldoze my way through life, and usually it works. You know, there's a saying that you get more with honey than vinegar. In my experience, sometimes I've noticed, especially if I go stay at a hotel or something, that just vinegar works. And sometimes if I'm really nice to people in hotels, then they take advantage and they put me in a little room where I can touch all 4 walls with my arms. And if I go to receptions and say, actually, you know, I booked this and that room really isn't acceptable and I'm not going to have that, then something is done about it. So if you're someone who believes that the kind of vinegar side of things is what gets things done, if you go on that approach today, you're going to entrench yourself more in a negative situation, and then rather than moving forward, you'll get yourself stuck, and other people are really going to push back. So this isn't going to work today, this full-on, I'm the boss and you do as you're told. There are loads of other people who are resisting that kind of energy, and then you'll be humbled and you'll have to eat humble pie and say, oh, you know, I had a major falling out, I didn't get what I want, I'm now stuck with something I don't like, and I'm having to learn about how, you know, to channel my feelings more effectively and how I can get what I want in a more productive way. And now I feel like I've learned something. Poor little fishy is looking out of the cup and saying, what have you done? You're all sad and upset now. Why? I'm upset and sad because I tried to get it my way and the world wouldn't let me have what I wanted. it's a big theme at the moment. People feeling entitled and not getting what they want. And different people react to that a certain way. Some people just say, okay, that's life, I accept it. Other people react very badly. So that's a lesson here today that you learn about yourself. You go back to being really your inner child. The most emotional part of you is affected by the actions of the day. What's going to be much more positive and what's going to be much more productive is if you immediately, rather than being a bully and push and say, this is how I want things, if you say, I would like things to be done a certain way and this is why I want them done like that, and I wonder if you could help me and work with me to get what we need, then instead of having these swords pushed against you and you're going me versus them, you try and get people on board. Then those swords aren't a wall that blocks you from moving forward, but instead one of these swords, one person may say, hey, actually, I see what you mean, I'm willing to help you. They take their sword, instead of blocking you, they use it to cut the ropes and to free you so that you can get what you want, but you do it with help. You don't do it by just bulldozing your way through. Now the cards were in reverse, so let's see what they mean when they're this way around. And that's how I turn them, isn't it? Yeah, I didn't change the order of the cards, I just turned them. So this way around is you're not in touch with your feelings. That causes you to be, if you're not into, well, hang on. The Page of Cups in reverse, the page is inexperienced. He doesn't know what's going on with feelings. So the Page of Cups in reverse actually is in touch with feelings. So if you ask yourself, what is it that I want? And you take the emotional approach and you implement what your feelings are telling you, that's the way to liberate yourself. And that's the way to create something new, something that isn't set in stone, and a way for you to topple the powers that be and to unseat the existing king and to actually get people working with you and to create a new order and a new kind of collective that rules rather than one big bully. So this is interesting. So we're told here this way around that you shouldn't be overly aggressive and get things done because people will resist you and you'll have to eat humble pie. When it's this way around, it shows that you are emotionally experienced. If you share that experience with other people and you get them to work with you, you get these swords on your side and you build your own sort of army of people who are your protectors and people who are your team, people who defend what you're trying to achieve. You can work with them to really free yourselves, you and other people, of an existing situation, and you can really take on someone or something that's keeping the lot of you down. So if you're in a building complex where nothing ever gets done and you've written letters by yourself, talking to the other people who live there, if you all write and you sign a petition, maybe then something will get done. Or if you're in a working environment and the boss, it demands that you do unpaid overtime, maybe joining a union and getting the other members of the office to join the union, maybe you can put a stop to this injustice of being forced to work unpaid overtime, which really is not something that people can get away with, and they will try and get away with it. In business, they try and get as much out of you as possible for as long as possible, and then when they break you, they just replace you with someone else. I know that's a generalization, but a lot of places operate on that level. They don't care about you and how you feel. They care about productivity, and if you don't keep up, then they'll just replace you. Now, the important thing is to not kind of go into, don't demonize other people and don't kind of make people something they're not, you know. Communication is also key. So I've mentioned 2 examples where you go against the powers that be by forming a community and by communicating as a group. That, I think, is something that is what you should do if all other ways of communication have failed. So maybe try again to speak to the housing agency, or try and speak again to the boss and say, you know, I've spoken to other people in the office and we would all like this unpaid overtime to stop. Have a last attempt at being reasonable with the person who you're trying to get something from, or who you're trying to explain something to, that things need to change, something needs to be altered. This can also be in a family situation. You know, if someone is very overpowering and overbearing, rather than calling child services, you could sit down, father, and say, listen, we the kids think you need to reel it in a little bit, because you know, we know you've been in charge and you've been our father for 25 years, but we're adult children now and you can't treat us like kids anymore. You know, we have to do our own thing, and you've got to give us that leeway. Otherwise, it's just going to end in arguments all the time. And we love you and we want to be happy. So don't think that things can continue this way. Something has to give. So don't project a lot of negative things onto this other person. Try and find a reasonable and communicative solution to the problem. And if that doesn't work, then go to outside organizations or institutions or groups to resolve the issue if you get to an impasse and if kind of this mediation has failed. Then call on, then go over that person's head and get other people involved who can force them to behave differently. Interesting reading, very kind of specific. Okay, number-wise, we've got 4 and 9, that's 13, and 1 is 14. 1 and 4 is 5, and 5 is about freedom in numerology. So by tackling the system that is keeping you trapped, or that's telling you what to do, or taking advantage, or using you and not compensating you properly, by taking that on without demonizing it, taking it on in a reasonable way and looking for a genuine solution that benefits everyone. If you attempt that today, it's very likely that you'll be successful and that you'll find freedom, and you'll have more freedom in your working situation or in the family situation, or whatever this applies to in your life specifically. So I hope you have a great day. If you'd like a private reading with me, then please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. Please remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.